Hello, my name's Omar Abdelraouf.
I'm Yassin.
Hi, I'm Judy.
Hi, I'm Nour.
Hello, I'm Mohannad.
To begin, Achebe, uh, Africa's best known novelist and the founding father of African fiction, died at the age of 82. Achebe's first novel was Things Fall Apart. It was published in 1958 and challenged European myths about Africans and established beliefs about the form and function of the novel. Between 1958 and 1987, he wrote 5 novels and short stories that depict Nigeria's turbulent history since the British colonial control began. Achebe was originally named Albert Chinwalumogu by his Christian convert parents in the traditional Igbo town of Ogidi in eastern Nigeria, 40 years after missionaries first came into the region. Achebe realized after his first year in university that writing was his passion, so he changed his major to English literature, religious studies, and history. Achebe was one of the future literary giants, including Wole Soyinka, who contributed stories and articles to nationalist student periodicals between 1948 and 1952. By the time he graduated in 1952, Achebe had made up his mind to be a writer who would narrate the story of Africans and the colonial encounter through the eyes of Africans. What was intended to be one big novel, starting with the colonization of eastern Nigeria and finishing just before independence, Achebe it turned it into 2 shorter novels, Things Fall Apart, that was set into the late 1800s, and No Longer at Ease, that was set in the early 1900s. This was in the decade before Nigeria gained their independence. Uh, Achebe became a vocal supporter of Biafra's independence, traveling the globe in search of help, and despite the fact that the Biafran cause was defeated in the war, Achebe remained optimistic. Achebe became a senior research associate at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka and co-founded Okiki, an important publication for African creative writing and critical debate with a group of Nigerian academics in 1971. In 1972, Achebe accepted a visiting professorship at University of Massachusetts, Amherst, where he continued to revise Okiki while teaching African literature.
The history of Nigeria. Nigeria is located on the west coast of Africa with more than 200 ethnic groups, each with its own language, beliefs, and culture. The events and things fall apart takes place at the end of the 19th century and in the early parts of the 20th century. The largely Protestant Yoruba in the west, the Catholic Igboland in the east, and the primarily Muslim Hausa Fulani in the north are the 3 largest ethnic groups. Additionally, the British were a major buyer of African slaves in the 17th and 18th century. When the British moved into Nigeria, they had a combined governmental control, religious mission, and economic incentive. The British ruled alongside the Muslim leaders that were prominent at the time. The British were competing with other Europeans for control of West Africa's natural resources, due to the fact that Nigeria had lots of resources that many people were amused by. Traders and refugees from invaders and climate changes began to establish among the native people, and foreign nations became conscious of the area's benefits, resulting in a diverse population. Nigerians sold them palm oil, peanuts, rubber, cotton, and other agricultural items. Some Nigerian traders became extremely wealthy because of their trading in these things. The British controlled unofficially with the help of the native Muslim rulers who gathered fees and ran the administration for the British. Groups like Umofia and Things Fall Apart were frequently dispersed. The British had to act immediately and aggressively to keep the nation's population under control. For example, in chapter 15 of Things Fall Apart, a true tragedy in the town of Arhiran provides the historical inspiration for the murder of the village of Abami. All opposition Igbo groups were murdered by the British after they demolished the mighty Oke Orko. The British established an efficient government organization in Nigeria and imported a British culture. They also sent many talented young Nigerians to England to further their studies. Nigeria became a republic in 1963 after becoming an independent country on October 1st, 1960. Thank you.
So the British had a strong presence in West Africa from the early 19th century until the end of the 19th century. So Nigeria was once a major slave trading hub for African slaves. In 1861, frustrated with the expanding slave trade, the British decided to occupy Lagos, which is the capital of Nigeria, in order to stop it from being used as a source of slaves. The British were in competition with other Europeans for control over the natural wealth of West Africa. The British bought palm oil, peanuts, rubbers, cotton, and other agriculture products from the Nigerians. In the early 20th century, the British defined the collection of a diverse ethnic groups as one country, Nigeria, and declared it a colony of the British Empire. In 1912, the British instituted the Collective Punishment Ordinance, which stipulated punishments against an entire village for crimes committed by one or more persons against the whole colonist. The Ahiyara incident led to the Bende Onishita hinterland expedition, a force created to eliminate the Igbo opposition. The British destroyed the powerful Awaka Oracle, which is this, and killed all opposing Igbo groups. Nigeria became an independent country on October 1. In 1960, the experience of Nigerians who lived overseas in the years preceding, during, and after World War II gave rise to a class of young, educated nationalists who agitated for independence from Great Britain.
In Truth to and Importance of Things Fall Apart. Things Fall Apart was published in 1958 by Chinua Achebe. It was published 2 years before Nigeria gained its independence. It became very popular and many copies were sold. The title of the book was created from a poem. W.B. Yeats, an Irish poet, wrote a poem called The Second Coming, which inspired the title of the book, Things Fall Apart. When Things Fall Apart was first published, Achebe stated that one of his goals was to show a Western audience a complex and dynamic society. Things Fall Apart demonstrates what many Nigerians experienced when their country was colonized by the British.
In the novel Things Fall Apart, Mr. Brown's replacement, a missionary named Reverend Smith, is harsh and strict. He forces his followers to discard all of their traditional beliefs and has little concern for indigenous practices or traditions. He is the stereotypical white imperialist, and his actions exemplify colonialism's issues. Smith demonstrates something really important regarding British colonialism and the emergence of missionaries in Nigeria throughout the 1800s. Unfortunately, there were many more colonists and missionaries who acted in this way rather than did not. In Chinua Achebe's famous post-colonial novel Things Fall Apart, the district commissioner is a high-ranking government official. The novel is considered the most significant example of Nigerian post-colonialism since it depicts many of the challenges that Nigerians encountered during the period of English colonization. Things Fall Apart depicts a wide range of characteristics of Igbo culture. For one aspect, it demonstrates their attitude toward religion in several instances. They are polytheistic, which indicates that they worship several gods rather than just one, as many Western and Central Asian tribes do. Their gods and goddesses, such as the Earth Goddess, regulate many parts of the world and daily life. Achebe shows both the positive and negative sides of Igbo culture. Achebe does not describe Igbo culture as ideal or perfect, but he rejects romantic representations of his people. Things Fall Apart was a remarkable work as an African book written in English that differed significantly from other recognized colonial writings. The importance of Achebe in making modern African writing a part of international literature cannot be understated. Thank you for listening.